Ever since Urs Kalecinski moved up to the open division, he hasn't stopped growing. He's turned into an absolute beast. In today's video, we're going to check where he's at right now, his current condition, his physique, and how he's looking. We'll see whether those weak points have improved yet, and we'll talk about what's next for him, what the future might have in store. Alright, I'm not a fortune teller, but I think I make pretty solid predictions, so I'm going to break it down. This is from 6 weeks ago and he looks insanely conditioned. It doesn't look like he's doing a dirty bulk. It looks like he's controlling it really well and he's not just piling on kilos and kilos of fat and water for no reason. Look, back there too, you can see how insane his conditioning was 6 weeks ago, and then more recently, like 4 weeks ago, he posted this other one where you can see him looking like a monster. Look at that, what a tank, it's crazy. This is what Urs needed. He needed to change categories. Being able to stay that full, that big, and not have to sacrifice that size when he competes is a huge advantage. And his physique just looks really different on stage. This is from a few weeks ago. Way more current, like how he is now in open. Now he can put on as much muscle as he wants without being limited by the classic weight cap. And the area where he needs to add that size is his arms, which are Urs's weak point. In this particular photo though, they look really good. I think he might be pumped, maybe he just finished training them or something, so it could be a bit misleading in that sense. Here, for example, his arm looks huge, damn, and his face too. The head gains Urs is getting, his head keeps getting bigger and bigger, it's ridiculous. And this one is from 3 days ago, and he captioned it, "Evolution with a little teddy bear." What do you want me to say? Yeah, he looks really big, he looks insane, but I still don't see the arms being that improved. When I look at those arms, I'm like, okay, that's classic arm size on an open body. Urs's arms are cursed. I think he's got bad arm genetics, and no matter how much he trains, it's incredibly hard for him to improve them. I don't know if he'll ever manage it, but this definitely isn't very encouraging. Look how thin he looks around the elbow. It's like a mix of two things. Not much size, and on top of that, I think he's got poor arm insertions. Let's see. Compared to how dominant his legs are, those arms. But I have to say his current look is spectacular. Up top he looks super full. Shoulders and chest are massive, with lats too. Look how big they look, and look at the insane striations he's got. Like, they must be growing a ton. Legs too, also spectacular. He's a tank, but I've got the feeling the arms, no, they're not improving that much, you know? Now let's talk about what I think the future could hold for Urs if he stays in open and keeps going down this path. I'm going to play in the background the video he uploaded on his channel about the Mr. Olympia competition day, finals day. And he's with Boss of Outlaw, his coach. This guy coaches a lot of bodybuilders and he's genuinely really good. Urs Kalecinski was a bodybuilder who needed this move because he was extremely limited in classic and always had to come in flat and drained. He's even said publicly that he's had to go from weighing 120 kilos, already at a crazy level of leanness, to around 100. Meaning losing a ton of muscle just to be able to compete, and that affected his health and messed with him psychologically a lot. Now in open bodybuilding, which is what we're also seeing in this video, okay, this is the Olympia Open, he doesn't have that problem and he'll be able to grow as much as he wants. Open is a division where there's a lot more upside. Financially, imagine winning the Olympia and earning 600,000, while in classic you take home 60,000. And imagine the media impact too. What can being a top level open bodybuilder bring you? Mentally, it's going to be way more manageable. The only issue, you already know, is physical health. Because of what they have to take, which is probably more than what he was taking in Classic. Another thing I see as a weakness for Urs, something I think he really has to work on, is his lower back. His back overall can improve, but especially the lower back looks pretty flat. And I don't know if it's how he poses, but you just don't really see it well in most back poses. Here, I think the coach is telling him, see how he's explaining how to pose. And that's the problem. Urs isn't controlling that lower back area, and at the Olympia he looked really bad there and people were even saying it was nerve damage and all that. He poses in a way I don't agree with. I think Urs simply needs to add several kilos of muscle, especially in his arms, his back and his lower back, to really look complete and be competitive in open. Right now it seems like arms don't matter as much. Even in classic, with weak arms, he still placed really well, and I think in open he'll place well too. But I do think it's something he has to improve a lot, and it's going to be really hard for him. Because he trains them super hard, he puts in a ton of effort with arms and they just don't really grow. I don't know if he'll ever manage it. What Urs does have though, something that's really valued in open, is insane legs, pretty big and really separated. I mean, when Nickzilla stands next to him, his legs look like half the size. Because, well, it's Nickzilla right there. But honestly, Urs's legs in open are pretty competitive as of today. I think Urs has an absolutely massive chest. Look how full his pecs are and how big they look on him. I think he's got good shoulders and his midsection is brutal. And the glutes, look, they're absolutely shredded. Really good glutes. I also think he has muscle groups that are really strong for open and get rewarded a lot. But the arms and the lower back, if he doesn't improve that, it's going to be a problem down the line. You see that midsection, how sharp it is? That's insane. It already widened a bit at this Olympia, and I think it'll keep widening and he'll lose a bit of that line. I think Urs, with one more year of progress, could add at least about 5 kilos of muscle. Has he taken the brakes off? If I'm not mistaken, how much did he compete at in the Olympia Open? What was it? 118, 120? Something like that, which is a ton of weight. And I think next year he could easily compete around 123, maybe even more dialed in with better conditioning. If he puts those kilos where he needs them, especially in his arms, lower back, and just more back overall, I think he could do some serious damage in that top tier of open. In his first Olympia in this division, he already jumped ahead of several open guys. In fact, he's already won several open competitions with less than a year in the division. So I think Urs could have a big future here. You can see the comparison with Vero Tavani next to Urs. There's a massive difference. Even if the difference in the legs isn't that big, the difference in the arms is exaggerated. And honestly, let's not even talk about Neckzilla. He's carrying an absolute slab of meat on him. I think Urs's structure is really good. I think he's got a really pleasing line, good height, good muscle separation, good insertions. Overall, arms aside. And I think with one more year, this physique cracks the top 10. He could even land an interesting spot, like, I don't know, 9th, 8th, something like that, moving up a few places. Here I'm showing you the official points table for this Olympia 2025. Urs placed 13th, finishing ahead of 8 guys. He even placed ahead of Regan Grimes, who's been in open for a while and has a strong level. Ahead of Rubiel Mosquera too, who's a mass monster. I don't know how they could put him that low. Sasan Hairati, who's won quite a few competitions, and you can see all these guys he's got behind him. I think next year he won't place 13th again. He could climb maybe to 10th, I don't know, 9th, 8th. I think his future is really promising. There's plenty of room for improvement. He can grow a lot, and he's got a good structure that, once he fully fills it out, is going to look monstrous. Like, without losing that aesthetic, that look that defines him so much. That said, what he needs to improve the most are those damn T-Rex arms and those forearms. Look how thin they are compared to other bodybuilders. If he improves that, the lower back and a bit more back and adds like 5 kilos of muscle, for next year's Olympia, I see him in the top 10 and placing well. We'll see what happens, but I see him coming in way improved. Super full. What do you guys think of his current condition? I think he looks incredible and he's really young, so he's got plenty of time. What do you think? Drop it in the comments, I'll read them.